Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. At the end of the last episode, I left you all on another cliffhanger, similar to how I did it last time. Kind of lame, I know, but this time we transformed into a small, cute little walrus guy, similar to Wazza the walrus. But however, before we stay as this cute little walrus, I'm gonna go ahead and transform back into Banjo and Kazooie because we forgot to collect the collectibles on the top of Mumbo's hut. Silly me. The yellow Jinjo is actually located right here at the top of Mumbo's hut, so make sure you go ahead and grab him before you transform into the lovely walrus guy. But this is our third transformation of the game, so this ability is actually going to be quite useful, and you'll kind of see why here. Not only are we a cute walrus, again, we look like the offspring of Wazza up there, the big fat blubbery lard that would not allow us to pass through his cave, even though the guy is like twice Banjo's size, but he's somehow afraid of bears that much. But now, as a little walrus, we are able to now, of course, swim through the cold water. Before we took damage because the water was too cold, much too cold for regular Banjo and Kazooie to walk through or swim through, but now we can collect the rest of the collectibles in the water because we are now the walrus. Again, this is pretty much a similar function to the crocodile transformation we just had in Bubble Gloop Swamp, where it simply allows us to walk through an area where we weren't able to walk through before without taking damage. So it's kind of nice being able to do it in this world. But if we head up here to where Boggy was on the sled, if you remember, he was looking for a smaller racer. Hey, Mr. Walrus, fancy a race? Hop on the sled if you do. So now we can go ahead and race this fat, worthless father. Yeah, so basically what we have to do is race this guy. Again, horrible guy, just an unbelievable, horrible father to his children. But what we want to do is now race through these red flags. So basically, once the flags turn green, that means you successfully went through the flags. I believe you cannot miss a single set of flags because I believe you actually have to go through it again, which of course will slow you down, making it less likely to win the race. However, this race really isn't too bad. It does have horrible rubber band AI. Essentially, if you get too far ahead of Boggy, he will catch up like lightning speed. However, on the other side of it, if he gets way further ahead of you, he will kind of slow down a little bit, essentially allowing you to catch up to him pretty fast. But he pretty much will stay right up on you if you of course, are right next to him like I am right here. I'm not a fan of rubber band AI, but in this instance, it really isn't that big of a deal. It can be annoying, so hopefully we get this done on our first try, but this is the end right here. He's literally right on our tail, but we went ahead and won. Phew. You're too quick for me, Mr. Walrus. Here's your medal. I reckon I need to race someone my own size. Or you can just go ahead and go back home and actually be a dad to your children. Horrible father. But anyways, he gives us a nice golden prize, which of course is a Jiggy. So yes, nice easy Jiggy there. We'll go ahead and collect our prize and we will move right along since we have a few more things to do here. But now that we are a small walrus, wow, another walrus, take this. But watch out for a smelly brown bear and his ugly bird partner. Yeah, so Wazza has now took a liking to us since we are walrus form, and he handed us that Jiggy just like that. Man, the guy he's just so discriminatory, man. He's just horrible. But now we can go ahead and enter his cave, which actually is pretty nice and pretty gorgeous, actually, if I say so myself. So he was actually hiding a nice beauty in here. Nice, beautiful, colorful crystals. He's got a nice little fire going. Man, it must be nice being a walrus, man. They just kind of live life large, I guess. But as you can see, there's actually a Jinjo at the top of the cave there in that little crevice. We cannot reach that as walrus Banjo. As you can see, this guy, look at him. He's just happy as ever. But now we can actually go under here since we can travel in the water. And there's a nice little tunnel for us to head into. And we will actually find some more lovely gems in here, such as an extra honeycomb piece, very nice. And we have more chinkers. These guys, of course, are pretty much scattered throughout the world. But again, it's a nice little area to kind of explore. Beautiful area, if I should say so. And I just love the design of it, like the crystals, the different colored crystals. Just look at that pattern. I know these are, you know, initially it was a game released for the N64, so it kind of holds those graphics from like the late 90s. But again, very well designed and just beautiful looking for the most part. But now we're going to go ahead and kind of waddle our way back through the tunnel and go ahead and exit Wazza's cave, as gorgeous as it ended up being, actually. So it's nice he actually gave us a chance and allowed us in, even though he was very discriminatory towards us when we were bear form. But anyways, don't judge a book by its cover. That's a lesson. But now it is time to pretty much wrap up this world. We don't have that much left to do. It looks like, I think we got all the notes already. So now we just have a few more things to collect. I think there may be a couple mumbo tokens in the water to get. But that's pretty much all we can do as Walrus Banjo, which is kind of disappointing. I really hoped they... one of the I guess if there's a gripe I have with this game is not giving the transformations of Banjo a little bit more to do. I feel like we kind of get like the tail end of things once we transform into a transformation. There's actually a mumbo token hidden right here in the water. And I kind of like to, would have liked it a little bit better if we had a lot more to do as the walrus. But yeah, we were able to race Boggy, go into that cave, but I feel like there was a lot more to explore with this transformation that we probably should have been able to. But you know what, it's fine. I love being able to transform into different creatures. That idea alone is amazing, and I'm glad we're able to do it. And one thing I actually have to say, and I don't think I mentioned this before, of course this is my favorite world of the game, but not only the design, the Christmassy winter feel, but the music, man. The music in this world is just amazing. This soundtrack for this game is awesome. Now it's time to head back into the hut and transform back into our bear selves. So now that we have returned to bear and bird form, we can actually head back into Wazza's cave since he's no longer blocking it. Eek, the bear again. Take that noisy orange thing with you and leave poor Wazza alone. Yeah, this guy's very much antisocial. But the last Ginger was hiding right up there, so we went and grabbed him and got another Jiggy. There's actually a little bit of a secret in there. It's actually part of the stop and swap function of the game, which I haven't really explained actually in this Let's Play yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to show off the... there's actually several different hidden areas throughout many of the worlds in the game where you actually find a stop and swap egg, which basically activates pretty much like an extra function of the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to go over that in this Let's Play, but if I do, it'll be towards pretty much the end of the Let's Play. And there's several more areas to kind of point out as well, so I might go back and show those all off. But now that we have all the presents for Boggy's children, since he did not want to do his job as being a father to his kids, we have to go and save the day and return their presents to them ourselves. Wow, thank you, Brown Bear. Yippee. Now we've all got presents. Here's something for you. All right, so they return the favor and give us a Jiggy. So yes, Christmas has been saved. We stepped in when Boggy was not up for the cause, and we are now their daddy. Look at it. They're just happy as can be. They've never been happier. And yes, Banjo is their new dad. I claim this now. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, this dude's kind of creepy. He's got a picture of us in his igloo. We might as well step in as the parental figure since he's not gonna do his job. Lousy polar bear. But anyways, that's pretty much all we can do here. There's one more Jiggy left to get here, but we unfortunately are not able to get that right now. We actually need the next ability to unlock, which is not accessible until the next world. So as you can see, if we open up our total, we have literally everything else besides that last Jiggy. So we will return here once we have the new ability, but for now we're gonna go ahead and exit this amazing, wonderful world. I love it so much. Now we have, of course, we have the snowman guy that has spawned outside of the world. Like every other world, once you enter the world, there will be an enemy spawned outside of the entrance after you enter it the first time. But now it's time to head back into Grunty's lair. So we actually wanted to head back into Treasure Trove Cove, and if you remember, this leaky bucket guy will actually allow us to enter the sandcastle because I actually forgot to do this before we entered Freezeezy Peak, but we have a Cheato code to use in the sandcastle here, so we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Now that we have entered the sandcastle again, we will do the same thing as before. Go ahead and kill that dark colored crab. And now we're, instead of entering the phrase Banjo-Kazooie like we did the first time we were here to get the Jiggy, we're going to enter in the cheat that we were given by Cheato, which is simply blue eggs. And that's actually going to increase our maximum blue egg count. So you want to go ahead and, of course, just enter all the letters in. And voila, 200 eggs are now yours. Now 200 is the maximum that we can hold. Very nice. Grunty, of course, is not happy. And she's not happy that we have more eggs than we need. So with that, we set back out. So going back into Grunty's lair, back to where we left off, right next to the entrance of Freezeezy Peak, we have another note door. And as you can see, we have more than enough notes to bust this thing open. You think I'm rather soft? I'll be waiting in the loft. So yes, Grunty's unhappy that we're proceeding on throughout her lair. But now we have another new area to explore. And this is a nice little dark lava area, which is something new we've not seen yet. But we also have the next puzzle challenge to unlock the next world, which is Gobi's Valley. Yeah, so that is the entrance of the world right there. We've passed by it a few times in the last episode, but now it's time to officially start up the next world, World 6. There's more for us to do in this area. As you can see, there's a lot more to explore over here. But we do not actually need to do this quite yet. We will be returning over here. There's actually a secret over there. You see there's a Brintilda over there as well. But we will be returning back here in a little bit. But for now, we're going to go ahead and start up Gobi's Valley. Another one of my favorite worlds. And yeah. We'll go ahead and exit the witch's mouth. I like how you kind of enter through her mouth and like there's like statues of her and things. Like it just kind of adds to the extra creep factor that she's like a narcissist. Like she can't get enough of herself, man. By the way, that sarcophagus I just passed by, I called that an esophagus, believe it or not, in the last episode. I actually didn't catch myself until the episode was already edited and ready for upload. That's just something that was kind of funny, but that's a sarcophagus, not an esophagus. Who am I? I don't know who I am anymore. I'm just saying things wrong, and I don't know. But anyways, now we're going to go ahead and take the wading boots, because that will allow us to travel over the sand, because if we don't use these, we will of course take damage. But now it's time to enter World 6, Gobi's Valley. As you can see, there's actually Brintilda hiding out behind the entrance. Man, she's just hiding out everywhere. Grunty's best friend at witch school was the awful Fatty Hattie. Let's see what else she has. When relaxing, she usually reads Big Butts and Guts magazine. Man, she's got all the dirt on Grunty. But now it is time for Gobi's Valley. So yes, we have a nice little desert mixed with a little bit of a grassland here. The first ginger is actually going to be located directly behind the warp point, or the entrance point. And we have those shoes again. So we will actually be accessing the shoes for Kazooie in this level. So this is the one move that we will learn in this world. It is the only move we'll learn in this world. We're going to want to make sure we keep an eye out for that. Up here, you'll find some more red feathers. I was kind of getting low, so I wanted to kind of replenish there. But here we have Trunker. Trunker wants rain. Gasp. I'm shriveling up. I'm not even going to repeat that line, but that's one of the funniest lines in the whole game. I can't believe they left that in. So Banjo's pretty much saying, can Kazooie's eggs or feathers help? Because Trunker needs fed, but it will not help, actually. He needs more water. There's plenty of water surrounding him in this little oasis. The guy needs some more. And as you can see, even if we poop out some of the eggs out of Kazooie's rear, they won't feed into his mouth, so that's not essentially not what we need to do there. But we travel up here. Of course, there's a lot more collectibles to collect, and we are now traveling across a giant sphinx. This guy is named Jinxie. You'll be able to see his face here once you get to the top of him. Those guys are kind of creepy. They remind me of the enemies in Zelda that kind of come up from the ground, but they're like big mummy hands in this game, so it's kind of creepy. But Just a nice little extra thing to kind of add in there that's just nice. And it always gave me, of course, PTSD as a kid playing through this. So yeah, there's that. But as you notice, there's a flight pet up here, so we will be utilizing that here in a second. But go ahead and jump on the front of this guy's head. See if you can see him. As you can see, we have a nice vast area here. So there's tons of pyramids, buildings, sand, all kinds of stuff for us to explore here. There's quite a bit of stuff to do here, but go ahead and collect this Mumbo token, and we'll jump on one of these pillars. My nose is all blocked up. Yeah, so this is Jinxie the Sphinx right here. So this guy, as you know, he said his nose is all clogged up. So what you want to do is shoot some eggs into his nostrils, and he will feel a little tickle. But what you want to do is actually do the same thing in the other one, and that'll essentially, I guess, clear up his congestion. Kind of weird how eggs do that, but I'm not going to argue with it. It's Banjo-Kazooie logic, so let's just go with it. But that will essentially open up the door, essentially allowing us to travel inside of him, as weird as that sounds. But this is going to be our first little area to explore here. As you can see, we have some floating magic carpet. So what we want to do is, there's actually a lot of notes in here to collect, or I guess a few of them. But what we're going to do is actually, we are going to be doing a series of platforming over the magic carpet. So if you thought this game went above and beyond with the platforming, you have not seen anything yet. We are going to be platforming over magic carpets. We platformed over a snowman, over a swamp, over, essentially everything in this game so far. But now we're going to be doing some magic carpet rides. So we will get this thing started. As you can see, we have some Sphinx with their mouths open right here. This is the first one, and essentially what he is indicating for you to do is to feed him eggs. What we want to do is shoot a few eggs into his mouth. He'll get a little bit full, and that'll allow us to ascend our magic carpets. What we're going to do is try not to fall like I did just there. We want to continuously, there's going to be more of these guys located on the wall, so we want to keep feeding these guys eggs to get across these magic carpets. And as you can see, there's a nice reward up there at the top. But we'll continue to feed these guys because they're just starving for eggs. Eggs is a very nutritious part of the meal. So I guess it makes sense why they would want those. Now we have the last guy to feed. And that will rise our last magic carpet up, and we can obtain the first Jiggy of the world. Very nice. That didn't take too long at all. Of course, there's a lot more left to do, so we're going to get down to it, and we're going to get right to that. As you can see, this is a nice little... I love how spacious some of these areas are, and some of the pyramids we're going to be exploring. One of the reasons why I love this world so much is because there's a lot to explore, a lot of different environments, and a lot of different scenery. I just love how much they fill up with these little buildings and pyramids, too. And just like it's like an Egypt type vibe, like a very Aztec type vibe, and I like it. And of course, great music to go with it as well, similar to the last world, Freezeezy Peak, because one thing this game does well is its soundtrack. Oh my god, this game's soundtrack is amazing. But anyways, enough fanboying. We're going to continue platforming over this giant dog. Only we sand eels can survive in here. So yes, the sand is going to essentially act just like the swamp water and the cold water in Freezeezy Peak, and you are not going to be able to travel through it. There's actually no Mumbo Hut in this world. So Mumbo does not reside in this world. There is no transformation. Anyways, what we want to do is use the Beak Bomb attack on this target with Kazooie's face on it. And that will open up our first pyramid.